Class of 2016, you also may be seated. Again, as I said, my name is Kenneth Coomer. I'm the principal of the Jerusalem School of Bethlehem High School. It is a great honor and privilege to welcome you here this evening. I will be your host for the evening. Hopefully you won't get too tired of seeing my face. We will take a moment now to celebrate Palestine with a playing of the national anthem. I know I said you could be seated, but if you would, please rise for the national anthem. You may now be seated. Again, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome you here tonight. Hopefully I won't make you stand up and sit down too many times this evening. I've had the distinct privilege to be the principal of the Jerusalem School of Bethlehem this year. It is with great pride that I have the honor of speaking first about the class of 2016. I've been to many graduations, and it's my understanding that the high school principal at the high school graduation is much like the dead body at a funeral, in that you can't do the ceremony without us, and you don't want us to say much. So with that being said, I'll keep my remarks short and to the point, and I won't tell any more jokes. I'd like to honor our staff and our administration, without whose diligent effort and consistent work on behalf of these students, they would not be here today. I know that I can speak for the class of 2016 and say thank you for your consistent effort. It's a representative from our staff from the other side of the planet, from our American staff, is going to be coming to speak to us next. A former assistant district attorney for the state of Georgia, left a promising law career to come here and join our staff to invest in the next generation of Palestine. Please join with me in welcoming Mr. Philip Henderson.
Good evening, distinguished guests, administration, teachers, parents, students, and graduates. I want to share with you this evening a verse from God's Word. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 33, the words of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He was speaking to his disciples about the future, about what tomorrow holds, about what was going to come. And he was talking about all the worries, all the cares, all the things, the practical day-to-day things that we concern ourselves with. And he said these words. He said, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." You will learn, if you haven't already, that there are many things in this life that are beyond your control. Things that are simply out of your hands, that you don't have power over. It's good for you that you grew up in a culture that says inshallah, because truly it is in God's hands. But Jesus told his disciples to focus on the things that you could control. One, your relationship with God, and second, your character. Because Jesus knew what is true, that character is destiny, that who you are right here in your heart of hearts, deep down inside, will govern your future more than anything else in this life except for God Himself. He knew that character is destiny, your character even when no one else is looking. There are many, many things that you can't control, but what you can control is your relationship with the one who controls everything. Class of 2016, you may not know what your tomorrow holds, but you'll be okay if you know the one who holds your tomorrow. I love you. From the bottom of my heart, class of 2016, I love you. And I pray for you, I really do. You won't all be doctors or lawyers or drift. No, not everybody can drift. But I pray for you that you will all be men and women of good, strong, godly character. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Again, a great honor and privilege to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight we're going to take some time to hear from some of our students. Each one of them I've come to love and respect on a personal level. Speaking to you tonight first is the president of the Student Government Association. He is a young man that I have watched grow over the last several years into an absolute young man. He is a man of respect, a man that I'm honored to have almost an older brother relationship with, just because we have a lot in common. We have similar interests. We're both big fans of the similar types of music, as well as I checked with him tonight to make sure that my outfit was okay for this evening. So I looked to him for fashion advice as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me President of the Student Government Association, Muhammad Takakta.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, distinguished school officials, parents, teachers and staff, friends and family. Welcome to the graduation of 2016. I would like to give thanks to Mr. Ross Byers for creating such a school that gave us a great opportunity to be here today. Mr. James Creel, who worked very hard with great dedication to provide for the school and make it running all these years. Ms. Grace Abu Muhammad, for being the perfect principal, or in other words, our second mother, who always cared for us, comforted us, assisted us when we needed it, and most importantly, for grabbing our ears when we did some kind of trouble. Let's not forget Mr. Kenneth Comer, who always stood by our side in good and bad, and always being our big brother that we all wish for. Since I would like to give special thanks to my parents and to all of our parents, whom without we won't be here today. Thank you is never enough to say to you guys. You always backed us up in need, guided us through life and school itself. You guys exemplify perfection. I love you, my elbow. On behalf of the class of 2016, I would like to recognize the great sacrifices that our parents have made for us and guiding us through life itself. Of course, my fellow classmates, my brothers and sisters, my crazy but loving friends, most of you have known for over than 10 years, where I had the opportunity to live many of the astounding moments of my life. From all the stupid things that we did, and from all the amazing memories that we shared in class or field trips or outside of school itself. In these years, I was a lucky individual to experience all of that with you, and simply knowing you guys was the best thing a person could ask for. I will never forget you as long as I live, because you guys became a piece of my heart, which is simply perfect. I sincerely love you from the bottom of my heart. And last but definitely not least, I would also like to give a special shout out to the teachers who taught us all these years and whom we are honored to meet. The ones here today and the ones who are missing, unfortunately. We honor our teachers, all of you who have in one way or another played a part in shaping who we are and who we are yet to be. Throughout the years, when we are still struggling to reconcile ourselves to the adult world, there are a few who stand by us and help us through the moments of uncertainty. These people can be anyone: a friend, a parent, a sibling, a priest, but most importantly, a teacher. A teacher can be a guiding force in our lives, even after we pass through the doors of our school and step into our youth. In these years of our youth, when the friends we make are likely to be the friends we keep, it is our teachers who guide us on the right path. When we fall, more often than not, it is a teacher who picks us up. Today, we, the students of JSB, the graduating class of 2016, would like to honor you, our teachers, for all what you have done for us. You have always been there when we needed you the most. You have never failed us in any way. You have accepted our failings with good humor, and you have always forgiven us for our wrongs. You have never turned away anyone who sought your help. Today we honor you for the wonderful people that you have been, and that you are, and that you always will be. Today we can say that although we may be aggravating at times, perhaps even many times, or all of the times, we appreciate you for who you are. Words cannot explain how thankful we are towards you, and towards what you have done. Thank you very much, everyone, and we love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you for the kind words and for honoring our staff. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of three sons. I grew up in the middle. I'm the middle son. I have an older brother and a younger brother. And I got you, my man. Okay, we fought like brothers often do. And we learned very young that I can fight my brother all day, but when you fight him, then you and I have a problem. And so it's with this sentiment in mind, the closeness of family that is represented in Arab culture and by so many of the families in this room, that I came to have a deep respect for our next speaker. She's a young lady who never has a problem with anyone. I mean, I've never had a problem with this student ever, unless her brother was in trouble. Of course, many of our teachers are laughing because they know exactly who I'm talking about. This student was just, she was a great student to have in class, always respectful, always cooperative, always involved in the class. And then if you messed with Peter, then you knew you had a problem. Okay? So please join me in welcoming a dedicated sister and speaking to you and welcoming you in Arabic, Miss Elizabeth Gabar.
ضيوفنا الكرام، أهلنا الأعزاء، معلمينا الأحباء، أود أن أشكركم جزيل الشكر نيابة عني وعن زملائي طلاب الصف الثاني عشر لعام 2015-2016 لحضوركم حفل تخرجنا. أقف أمامكم اليوم لألقي كلمتي هذه بمناسبة تخرجنا من هذا الصرح التعليمي العظيم الذي أضاف إلى فرحتنا فرحة أخرى لا تقل عنها، وهي ذكريات لسنوات طويلة عشناها في هذه المدرسة، بيتنا الثاني الذي طالما رسمنا أحلامنا ونحن نستقي ثمار العلم من معلمين الأفاضل، وخاصة مس سوسن غوالي، فقد كانوا جميعا العين الساهرة على مصلحتنا، فزرعوا فينا حب العلم وأسمى الأخلاق والإيمان والقيم لنكون جيلا يفخر به. ولا نستطيع أن ننسى فضل مديرتنا مس جريس أبو مهر التي كانت لنا نعم المعلمة ونعم الأم، فلطالما احتضنتنا ونحن صغارا وشاركتنا همومنا وأفراحنا ونحن كبارا، فلها منا جزيل الشكر الاحترام والتقدير. لا يمكن أن ننسى فضل راعي هذه المدرسة السيد جون روس بايرز والمدراء الأفاضل السيد جيمسون كريل والسيد كومر كينيث الذين ساهموا جميعا في بناء وتطوير هذا الصرح الشامخ. وكما نشكر مديرية التربية والتعليم لتعاونها معنا، فبجهود هؤلاء جميعا وصلنا إلى أعظم فرحة ينتظرها كل طالب بفارغ الصبر. فمن عتبة هذه المدرسة سننطلق جميعا لتحقيق أهدافنا وطموحاتنا، ونحن نعلم بأن سلاحنا هو العلم والأخلاق الذي طالما ثابرتم وجاهدتم من أجله. وإننا لنعدكم جميعا بأننا سنواصل مسيرتنا في الحياة لتفخروا بنا، فقد كنتم لنا دائما مصدر الدعم والرعاية، فلكم منا كل الشكر والاحترام والتقدير. وهل نستطيع أن ننكر فضل أهلنا جميعا، وخاصة أبي وأمي الغاليين اللذين قدما لي كل حب وعطف وحنان، فلولاهما لما وصلت إلى ما أنا عليه الآن، ولولا دعمهما لما شعرت بهذه الفرحة الغامرة. فلوالدي ولكل الأهالي العرفان بالجميل، وهنيئا للجميع بهذه الفرحة التي طالما انتظرتموها بفارغ الصبر طوال هذه السنين. فألف ألف مبروك للجميع وشكرا.
Thank you, Elizabeth. You'll notice I came out late on my cue there because I did not understand that whole last line, so or much of the rest of it. But thank you, Elizabeth. I'm so proud of these students. They've worked very hard to get where they are today. Most importantly, the next couple of students we're going to hear from are going to be the salutatorian and valedictorian, but the salutatorian, as you know, is the student with the second highest grade point average in the class. With the second highest, I should say, qualifying grade point average. We require a certain amount of years in our school to qualify for salutatorian and valedictorian. This race was very close. We have some very intelligent, bright students on stage, so the race for valedictorian and salutatorian was very close. So the salutatorian is a young lady that I've come to have a lot of respect for because I know that she is truly seeking the will of God for her life. She is a loving daughter and cares deeply for her parents. And on many occasions was in my office simply to talk about, hey, can we pray for my parents? It's a tough time, we need to pray for my parents. So I know from these interactions that she cares deeply for her family. And it's through these interactions, when you see how a student cares about their family, you know that they're invested deeply in their roots here in Palestine. And that's something that we as Americans can take a great lesson from. So it's with a great deal of respect and pride that I have the honor of introducing to you tonight Miss Maroon Youssef.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our graduation. I would like to thank everyone who has come to celebrate our graduation with us and share in those special moments. On behalf of the senior class, I would like to thank all of our teachers, but especially Miss Amy and Miss Maggie, for their constant help and motivation throughout the past 3 years. They have spent time with each of us and helped us grow, as well as help solve personal and educational problems that we have faced. As for me, I would like to thank my classmates for all what they have done. I know that without you, I would not be here today. You have made our school years fun, adventurous, and enjoyable. Each of you is amazing and have contributed their own special piece to the class so that it would be complete. I won't forget any of the amazing moments I have spent with you, and you will always be on my mind. I would also like to thank Mr. Coomer for his guidance this year and for his tolerance. You have worked with the class and with individuals this year to make sure our senior year is exactly what we wished for, You have maintained your support and encouragement throughout the year and pushed us to a new standard of excellence. I would like to thank all of the teachers for providing us this opportunity to learn, grow spiritually, mentally, and academically. Each teacher in the JSB home has a place where we can share our secrets and where we can run to when we need help or when we need advice. No matter how much I thank you, it won't show the gratitude that we feel as students. We are so blessed to get to know and spend time with all the teachers and learn from each of you. Finally, and most importantly, I would like to thank my parents for their tireless effort and encouragement. I love you all with all my heart, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, JSB. Thank you, my parents, for everything.
Thank you, Maroon, for the kind remarks, especially about my tolerance. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to share with you a personal lesson. Don't ever pray for God to give you more patience, because He will test it, which is something that we went through with the class of 2016 this year. I think that they will agree with me in saying that it was a tumultuous year. We challenged each other, and we both, the graduates and myself, we grew as a result of our interactions together. That being said, I am truly proud of them for making it here tonight. So coming up next, we have the valedictorian. The valedictorian, as you know, is the student with the highest qualifying GPA. The race was very close. We had a student who was right in the race for valedictorian, unfortunately had not been in the school year long enough. So I'd like to give honorable mention to Miss Dana Hindi for her tireless efforts this year. But our valedictorian tonight, she is a lady that I have a lot of respect for. A lady who comes from a great family, as all of our graduates do. But she bears a specific responsibility that some of our other graduates don't have to deal with. The valedictorian, her father, is a businessman who travels internationally regularly. And as a result, our valedictorian oftentimes has to play the role of a third parent, often stepping in and being the guiding hand and shepherd for her younger sisters who often need an extra guiding hand, especially Noor. That being said, I am very proud to introduce to you our valedictorian. She's a dedicated sister and a loving daughter, and a lady that I'm very proud to know and introduce to you tonight. Please welcome with me, Vivian Sadeh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an exciting day. My name is Vivian Ghassan Al-Atrash, and I would like to say how honored I am to stand before you all. Before we leave and go our separate ways, let us remember and thank those who were so helpful, supportive, and cooperative in getting us here today. I would like to thank my wonderful family for their support and unwavering love. Mama and Baba, thank you so much for everything you have done for me. Your love and support means more to me than you will ever know. I am here because of you. I love you both, and I love my whole family too. I would also like to thank my sisters, Maram, Noor, Sadine, and Raneen. Maram generously helped me in my studies, so teachers in all my essays, there were supposed to be credits for her somewhere. I would also like to thank my baby brother, Ahmad, for cheering me up when nobody else could. He's the greatest blessing God has given me. I would like to thank every single teacher that has ever taught me. As an anonymous author once said, a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart. They are role models, and I admire them for all the knowledge they shared, and love them for their ability to touch my heart. You can tell they actually love what they do. They care for us as much as our own parents do, and it is because of them our school is a home when we're away from home. They believed in me when I lacked confidence and was uncertain of my capabilities. They inspired me to cope with any obstacle life has thrown at me, and for that I am indebted to them for life. I would like to give a special thanks to Miss Amy. She taught me for 3 years, and I will never forget the sincere lessons you have taught me or the memories we've shared. I will miss your enthusiastic character, your care, and especially your profound knowledge in English and in life. I am thankful I have the chance to experience the journey of life with you. Let's not forget to recognize great people who have contributed to this school. Mr. Jameson, Mr. Kumar, Ms. Grace, and Mr. Ross. Your diligence and perseverance will never be forgotten. Thank you. I would also like to thank my friends for their support and encouragement. Looking around, I see people from the past 7 years that I've grown very close to. Looks like we finally made it. Despite all the odds, we still managed to graduate. We are finally through being afflicted and overwhelmed from senioritis, so let's give us a big round of applause. Elias, Wasim, Victor, Ramzi, and Nasri, your pranks, your jokes, and your foolishness will never be forgotten. It is those days when Ramzi cracks a joke or Nasri makes a prank that make my school years memorable. Dan and Ludo, you guys are like Zingo Ringo, or Bipsi, Aksi Bipsi as Dana says it. The intense arguments over whether or not Ms. Selson will include a question on a test or the usual hysteria you guys go through before a test are the memories I will look back at and laugh. Mirun, you've been my classmate since 6th grade. You will always have a special place in my heart. Thank you for the love, support, and most of all for being you. I will miss our daily shawarma breaks that we gained probably 10 pounds from this year. Yasmin and Muhammad, you guys taught me a very important message that I didn't get until the end of the year. Go with the flow. Wafiq, I've seen you evolve every school year we've shared, from being an awkward yet short 6th grader and fast forwarding to today. You have become an independent and strong individual. You have a great character and you've opened my eyes to so many horrible and great things I was oblivious to. And for that I want to thank you. I want all of you to leave here today and make memories so great, so happy, so that one day when I meet you all again down the road, we'll have some awesome stories to talk about. Now the time has come for me to say something I've been waiting to say for 7 years. I am so proud in each and every one of you. Class of 2016, we finally made it, and now it's time to say goodbye. Congratulations and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. As you already noticed, these are caring, involved, and very intelligent students that we have graduating tonight. At this time, I have the honor and privilege to introduce to you a man without whom I would not be standing in front of you today. Nearly 4 years ago, I guess, at this point, he recruited me from my university in Tennessee and put me through a strenuous application process and eventually gave me the opportunity to learn about the people and the culture and the rich heritage of Palestine. And I'm truly grateful for that opportunity. He is the superintendent of the Jerusalem School of Bethlehem, but more than that, he is a mentor. He is a leader. He is a leader creator, in fact. He is a visionary and a vision. And I lost the mic. Check. Are you hearing me? All right, now I'm back. That's good. I was just about to shed a tear. Should I do it anyway? Okay. All right, sorry. Again, a mentor, a leader creator, a visionary, and a vision caster. He is a man of great faith, and in fact, in my opinion, a hero of the faith. A man without whom, again, I would not be standing before you tonight. Please join with me in welcoming the superintendent of the Jerusalem School of Bethlehem, Mr. Jameson Creel.
I'm going to hold this, if it's okay. I don't like being limited, so I'm going to hold it. All right. Thank you all for being here. Very honored to have the Ministry of Education in attendance today, Mr. Samuel Marawe and his colleagues. We thank them. But I mostly want to talk to these guys. I have been teaching them for the last 2 years, and I coached some of them even before that. So I've had a 2 or 3 year relationship with these guys. But that wasn't how I met them, or that wasn't how I first came in contact with this class. Those of you who may or may not know this, but 5 years ago, Mr. Ross gave me the very high honor of asking me to fill the role that he had filled here for many years of becoming the superintendent. It's a pretty intimidating job, but I thought I was supposed to do it, so I said okay. And so I stepped into a job that I was totally ignorant of, and you know, I would kind of go around the school and ask teachers, how are you doing, what's going on, just trying to get a pulse of the school that first year. And it became normal, no, I wouldn't say normal, well, kind of normal, to go around the school and ask a teacher, like, how's your day going? And they'd be like, great, day's good. I really was good. And they'd be like, yeah, I really enjoyed first period, third period. Well, except when I taught 8th grade. That was rough. And I'd be like, oh, 8th graders, this was 5 years ago, so you do the math. And, you know, the next year I would, like, hey, how was your day? Like, it was really good. And they're like, oh, okay, so that was kind of my introduction to these guys. But here's what's really cool. So I probably shouldn't even said that, but I say that to say this. Our school, you know, when you ask us what we're about helping people grow spiritually, emotionally, physically, in all ways. And what has been awesome for me, you know, as a leader and someone who's trying to help our teachers do their jobs well, is to see these guys go from the class that some people wanted to avoid to a class teachers love to teach and to be around. And to see the transition in some of their character, in the maturity process, the maturation, the growing up thing. Hopefully not finished with that process, but to see it, you know, in motion and see these guys become like, you know, respectable, good, solid young men and women. That makes me proud. And what I'm counting on is that, because this is one of the cool things, like I've been in this country doing this kind of work for about 20 years now. I'm 19 in August. And what's cool is when you know, there was a kid and you knew him as an 18-year-old, and like 5-10 years later you see him as a 28-year-old and you're like, wow, they did good. And that's what I'm counting on. Like I'm counting on, you know, I look forward to bumping into you guys. You know, maybe you'll go off to another country for a university, or maybe you'll stay here, ones of you will take different paths. But I can't wait to bump into you 10, 15 years down the road. You finish college, you know, you're into your married life and you're into your careers, and just hearing the stories of what you've done and what you've become, like, and I'm excited for you guys. Now, if that's gonna happen, I just wanna leave, I know I've talked to you guys for 2 years. These poor guys have to listen to me for an hour and a half, 2 times a week. So they've heard me talk 3 hours a week for a long time. And right now they're thinking, well, he just be quiet, it's enough already. But I just wanna leave you with 2 ideas, okay, 2 thoughts. One, as you go forward into that life, kind of 2.5 thoughts. Okay, call it 3. One is, do not let anyone limit what you can do. Okay, the world loves to tell you what you can't do. It loves to tell you, you know, because there's a wall somewhere that your economic and educational opportunities are limited. No, they're not. It likes to tell you you can't do this, you can't do, you know, don't listen to the world. Okay, it doesn't matter your race, your gender, your people group, your this, that, the other. None of that matters. The only limiting factor on your life is actually you, okay? And if you will make the right kind of decisions in life, you can go anywhere you want, do anything you want to do. There is no limitation. There's no ceiling on where you can go, all right? But the potential limiting factor is you, okay? I once heard a wise man who's sitting on the front row over here say that decisions are like a stick, Okay? You can't pick up only one end. If you pick up a stick, you have to pick up the whole thing. The point of that is to say all actions have consequences. And you're free to do anything you want to do. You can do anything you want to do. But you are not free to select the consequence of that action. Okay? So, you can study and work hard, and that has certain kinds of consequences. You can be lazy and waste your potential, and that has certain kinds of consequences. You're free to choose the action. The consequence, you've chosen that too. And I encourage you guys, make good choices because you don't want to waste it. You don't want to look back 20, 15 years from now and think, I could have been this, I could have been that. Don't be a I could have been, okay? Get after it and get it. Now that we're making decisions, what kind of decisions should you make, right? And so I've been doing a little reading, little research, getting ready for this day. And I read a study by Yale University. It's a pretty good one. And Yale University recently did a survey of their own students at their 25th college reunion. Okay? So these are people who are now about 48 years old and who have went to one of the top 4 or 5 universities in the world. Okay? This is a survey taken of people who are amongst the most wealthy, powerful people in the world. These are, they've all done well. They achieved to the highest in academics. They've now, in later life, achieved to the highest in career fields and in every arena you can imagine. Okay? 80% of them said that they were unhappy in their life and felt that they had wasted it. How do 80% of Yale graduates who had it all, money, houses, everything, look at their life and say, I blew it, I made horrible decisions? That doesn't even make sense. But I think the answer lies in this. And it lies in a study done by Harvard. So another pretty good university. There's a study that Harvard is just beginning to release the data from. They started this last year to release data. It's one of the really the most amazing research projects ever done. Because what they did was 75 years ago, I guess 76 now, they selected 720 boys, young men who were 19 years old. Okay? 720 19-year-olds. Half of them were actually young men studying at Harvard. So from the wealthy, the successful, the educational elite, from the high end of society. And half of them from the slums and ghettos of the Boston area. Okay? So they took young men from the lowest and the highest, and they have done a longitudinal study of them every year of their life. They call these people in, they do interviews, they do studies, they do medical examinations on them, they examine these people in every way you can examine a human once a year, and they've done it for over 75 years. Comprehensive, again, longitudinal study of humans that's ever been done, okay? And this is what they found. They wanted to know, because now that these men are in their 90s, and honestly only about 60 of them are still alive, they're looking at the data and saying, what can we determine about choices in life and how life works? And this is what they found. The ones that report near the end of their life that they're happy, that they're doing well, that they've had a good life, that it's been a good ride, I don't have regrets. There is one common unifying factor. There is one thing that far exceeds everything else as being the thing. And it is one thing, and that is this: solid relationships. It's all that matters. It didn't matter with these young men if they were working as trash collectors or doctors. There was even a president of the United States in that group of 720 men, by the way. It didn't matter where they fell on the spectrum. All of the ones that at the end of life were like, it's been good, were the ones who in the middle of life reported, my marriage is solid, I love my kids, that my relationships are good. Okay? So as you enter life and you start making decisions about what you're going to do, the thing that I would encourage you to do above all else, is to honor your families and your relationships and decisions that you make. Because more than anything else, more than money, more than fame, or all that, that's going to be a deciding factor. You know, when Jesus was asked what is the most important thing in life, he said, love God and love your neighbor. Loving God and loving people is the main thing. If you date, you're going to be fine. So that's what I want to leave you guys with, is like really when you make your decisions, lean in to family, friends, relationships, more than flying high. And we want you to fly high too, okay? Now, into my speech. I'm done. You will never have to listen to me give a speech again. You can celebrate later. I have two things I need to do before I get down off of this podium and we can get out of this room pretty soon. First off, is I would be completely remiss if I did not take a minute to, Dana, stand up. Dana, Mindy, stand up. Okay, I need you guys to give her applause. This is why. We have, thank you. We have a rule at our school that says you have to have served at least 3 years in our school to qualify for valedictorian or salutatorian. Because of that rule, Dana was disqualified for consideration for either of those positions. Having said that, Dana has never made anything in her academic career ever that was not an A. Okay, from kindergarten till now, everything she has ever gotten has been an A. So we would be completely, I would be wrong and a bad human if we didn't take a minute to say congratulations to her. In addition to that, she's also an awesome and wonderful person to have in a class and a kind, decent human who I have really loved teaching. So I told you you'd be all right. Relax. So that's that. Next thing, I need 2 people to join me here on stage. The 2 people I need to join me are Miss Grace Abu Mohor and Heidi Hodges. Come on down. I feel like we should have music or something. So, Heidi, come over here where you're like in the spotlight and visible. Okay, so I'm embarrassing her now. She had no idea this was gonna happen, and that's awesome. Okay, so we love absolutely every human being that comes and serves at our school. I don't care if they're Chinese, Arab, Indian. We love everybody who comes out here and wants to serve and help kids. But Heidi, in the time I have been here, is the first person as a foreign teacher to make the 5-year mark. And Heidi has been, I don't know how else to say this, but basically pretty well the perfect teacher. Okay, I mean, I don't know how else to, look, I shouldn't even say this, but I'm just gonna be honest, and I like to err on the side of being transparent and honest. You know, it has become a routine for me every year, sometime around like June or July, to start getting phone calls. And the phone calls are from the parents whose children are going into 2nd grade. The phone call kind of goes something like this. Is my kid in Heidi's class? And then I'm like, we'll know later. And all of our teachers are awesome. But the parents fight over this one. You know, that's just true. And it's because she does an awesome job. And she doesn't just do an awesome job in the classroom. She does an awesome job as a person in the community of knowing people, loving people, being at homes with families. She has been the best person I know at bridging what is sometimes a gap between our Arab staff and our American staff. Like she loves everybody, does a great job of moving like that. And she's been somebody, you know, for me, I can speak for myself, who if I just want an opinion on an issue, like, hey, what's about this? Somebody that I could trust, you know, for these years. And, you know, I'm really sad she's leaving, like really honestly sad she's leaving. So it would have been wrong for us to not honor Heidi today and just mention I mean, think about this. 5 years, that means every kid in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade last year, because she would go back and forth and teach the other classes some English too. Every kid in 3rd through 7th grade, that's 5 years worth of students that we're gonna push out the top end of this school, that the foundation will have been laid, you know, in part by this lady. And we're so thankful. She's leaving us and it kills me, but she's getting married, so mabruk for that. But, you know, we just wanna thank her. And we got a gift for you. too embarrassed. Go ahead. All right, so now I'm going to leave, but in leaving, I get to introduce our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is Mr. Ross Byers. He is the founding superintendent of JSB. Without him and Ms. Grace, because they worked in tandem to found the school, none of us would be here. It is a super honor for me to introduce him. I've said this before, and I only say it because I mean it. He has been a father figure to me for the last 19 years. Everything I know about how to work in this country, I learned from him. And I don't, you know, it's hard to know somebody for 19 years and to say, I can't say anything bad about him. But that's pretty much the truth. Like, he's an awesome guy. I've been honored. You know, like, I think about my life, and one of the things I believe is to be true, and I think it's why we're so blessed to have great parents, is that it takes good men to make good men. And I've been blessed in my life to have an awesome father and then an awesome mentor. And so I introduce to you now our keynote speaker, Mr. Ross Byers.
Am I on? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. That's good. Well, that's a great privilege to be here today and see these graduates and honor them as they graduate. It's so great to see many of you parents and teachers. Really appreciate the men from the Ministry of Education coming. I'm very touched by their willingness to come and share this ceremony with us. And as we come to the end of the year, I know the last thing you're needing is another talk. But I get in the last word. That's one thing about being the keynote speaker. I get in the last word. Now, I want to say something that's very profound and very memorable, but really I'm not able to do that. You're not going to remember what I say. As a matter of fact, I spoke at a graduation last year, and I don't even remember what I said last year, but I thought it was memorable and profound. But I do want to leave something with you that you can take with you. More of an emotion. I want you to feel empowered. I want to give you an encouragement about the future. And it's amazing how the things that both Philip said and particularly Jameson said tie in so closely with what I want to say, because I want to talk about decisions as well. Because you see, you sit here now, the sum total of the decisions that you have made. A few years from now, you'll be graduating from college, and I will say the same thing. You will sit there graduating the total of the decisions that you have made. Later on in life, we will see you down the road, and you will be the total of the decisions that you have made. Sometimes we want to pass the buck over and say it's our school, it's the family, it's the government, it's the political situation. Actually, it's your decision. You've already making great decisions. You've made a decision what kind of character you're going to have. Are you going to be honest and kind and gentle? Are you going to be a hardworking student? You've chosen about your behavior. And you've made many of these choices. But I want to talk about the importance of the decisions, and that the choices you make not only affect you, but it affects the rest of us. And I want you to begin by this statement. You have a choice, and I'm going to mention several couplets here, to be part of the solution or be part of the problem. You can choose if you're going to be a cause in our world or be an effect. Are you going to be an influence, or are you going to be influenced by others? Are you going to be an agent for change, good change, or are you going to follow the crowd? In this building and in your homes, we have two things. One is a thermostat. A thermostat, we set it and it determines the temperature, what the house is going to be. We're going to make it warmer, we're going to make it colder. And on that thermostat is a thermometer. It says, here's what the temperature is. And you've got a choice in life. If you're going to be a thermostat that changes the climate around you, It changes the atmosphere. It changes the people. Or are you going to be just a thermometer that says, here's the way the situation is? In other words, are you going to be an agent for change, creative change, or are you just going to be a news item? Well, today was a bad day. The situation politically has gotten worse. It's been a hot day today. There's been crime. There's been more injustice, more oppression. Are you going to be a thermostat that can change these things, or a thermometer that says, here's the way things are? I hope that you will choose to be the thermostat that regulates the atmosphere around us. So I'm going to go with a series of what ifs. What if you, as the graduating class of 2016, what if you choose love over hate? What if you choose peace over war? What if you choose good over evil? What if you as graduates choose cooperation over antagonism? Or forgiveness over resentment? What if you choose pardon over retaliation? What if you choose reconciliation over revenge? What kind of world are we going to have? What is the atmosphere going to be? What if you choose courage over fear? Tolerance over intolerance? What if you choose hope over despair? What if you choose to bless rather than to curse? What if you choose to fulfill your responsibilities rather than demanding your rights? What if you choose to listen more and speak less? What if you choose to seek to understand the world around you rather than seeking to be understood by them? What if you choose justice over injustice? What if you choose to talk more and do more rather and talk less? What if you choose three statements I'm going to make by Jesus here? And let's remember that Jesus grew up in Palestine. He grew up under occupation. He grew up under oppression. And he was also a refugee. He was a lot like us. But he would say, turn the other cheek. And what if we choose to walk the second mile? What if we choose to treat other people like we want to be treated? What if we choose to be pathfinders rather than following the beaten path? What if you choose rather than to serve rather than being served? What if you choose to give rather than to take? What if you choose to produce rather than to consume? What if you choose to lift rather than leaning? What if you choose to act rather than just sympathy? What if you choose to praise others rather than to seek recognition for yourself? What if you choose sacrifice rather than security? What if you choose to encourage rather than to discourage? What if you choose to lift up rather than to put down? What if you choose to love and to have kindness and gentleness and tolerance and peace and patience and self-control and humility and discipline and respect? What if you as graduates choose to build bridges, breach barriers, stop the bloodshed, stop the bias, break down borders, bolster the bonding that we need between people, stop the blaming, and bestow blessing? Confucius said it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. You can leave this place and curse the darkness around us, and there's a lot of cursing the darkness is appropriate. Or you can choose to light a candle. And remember that small lights count too. In closing, I want to say this to you. Don't change with the times. Change the times. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Ross, for those wise words. It's always an honor and a privilege to hear from such a wise man. And truly, you've issued a challenge to these graduates today to listen more and talk less. Oh my. Yes, quite a challenge for these students today. Mr. Ross said that he had the last word, but here I am. So, again, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We are coming to the culmination of the ceremony this evening, but before we do so, I'd like to ask that at the end of the ceremony, if you'll all remain in your seats until the graduates have left for the lobby, and then I will dismiss you at the end. Coming next in the program is the presentation of diplomas. Presenting the diplomas tonight is a highly respectable lady without whom none of us would be here this evening. She is a woman of God, and again, in my opinion, a hero of the faith. She is a visionary. She is the founder of the Jerusalem School of Bethlehem. She is a woman who is very near and dear to my heart. A lady that I have a lot of respect for. A lady who I look to as a second mother. Why? Because she is the caring mother figure for all of the people connected to Jerusalem School of Bethlehem. Not only for myself and for the other staff, but she's also a mother figure. As many of you parents know, she is a second mother for each one of these students tonight. So just as proud as you are that they're here and they've made it to this graduation ceremony, I can assure you that Miss Grace is just as proud. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the mic Miss Grace Abu Mahor.
I think you heard a lot. سمعتوا كثير زهقتوا انتوا you got bored but it was really very very nice words, right? مظبوط؟ صح. أسعد الله مساءكم باسم الآب والابن والروح القدس الإله الواحد أمين. بالأصالة عن نفسي وعن الهيئة التدريسية والإداريين أرحب بكم جميعا أجمل ترحيب. حضرة مدير المدارس القدس الأمريكية القس جون روس بايرز، حضرة المدير جيمسون كريل، حضرة المدير كومر مستر كومر، حضرة مدير التربية والتعليم السيد سامي مروة، والزملاء من ممثلين التربية والتعليم. هذا الشيء شرف لنا حضوركم ونشكركم جدا. لولاكم نحن ما بنقدر نستمر في هذه المسيرة التعليمية. دعمكم وتشجيعكم لنا هو مسيرتنا الوحيدة. فشكرا إلى سيد سامي ولوقتك اللي مضيته معنا. On behalf of myself, all the teachers and administrators, we welcome you all. At this moment of pride and joy, where we gather to celebrate our students who had grown up under our side since their childhood. Thank you, Lord, for your protection over them all through their school lives. We ask you, Lord, to protect them in their future life. Dear graduates, by working hard and being honest and humble, and above all, having faith in your hearts, because the Lord loves you and He created you for His purpose to be fruitful and productive, each in your own community. I love you, dear sons and daughters, and I'm going to miss you all. We believe in you and in your abilities to become a wonderful leaders to your country, Palestine. Yes, students. Special thanks to all the teachers and especially Miss Amy and their principal, Mr. Coomer, who was like a father for them, tried all his best to help them be happy and successful. Special thanks to Mr. Jamison for his efforts for development of the school. الأهل الأعزاء، ألف مبروك لأولادكم وأتمنى منكم رعايتهم بالصبر والإيمان والمحبة لحتى يشقوا طريق الحياة الصعبة التي نعيشها ليصلوا إلى أهدافهم في تلك الظروف الصعبة. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot. It's time. Now, the time has come to say congratulations to our students. بنحب نطلب من الأستاذ سامي مروان, Mr. Ross, if you like to come up here and present the diplomas with us, please. We thank Mr. Jameson and Mr. Kumar too. We start with the students that she was or she got her second place in her class. حصلت على الدرجة الثانية على صفها الطالبة ميرون حنا كريم يوسف. Meroon, smart, hard worker. Congratulations, Meroon. Mabruk. الطالبة إليزابيث عادل جورج قعبر. She's quiet and care about her family. الطالبة دانا طارق علي هندي. She's smart and sweet girl. وأيضا حصلت على مرتبة شرف. الطالبة فيفيان غسان عبد الرحمن سادة. She's responsible and takes care future seriously. Congratulations, Vivian. وحصلت أيضا فيفيان على الدرجة الأولى على صفها. ألف مبروك. I love this sweet girl. ياسمين جمال محمود عودة الله. She's reverent and very determined girl. I love you, Yasmin. الطالب محمد جبرين عايد طقاطقة. مجهول strong personality وأيضا حصل على مرتبة شرف. ألف مبروك. الطالب إلياس نيكولاس أكرم إلياس مصلح. Kind and polite student. I love you. الطالب الواثق بالله وائل طه زبون. This boy, he has a special love in my heart. I really love him, this boy. He has a wonderful character. God is living in his heart. No need to always to be great in your academic. Also, you have to be great in your character. بشخصيته، شخصية واثق تعجبني جدا. الطالب وسيم سامي عيسى النجار. Wasim, mature, kind, and he's a wonderful boy. We love you, Wasim. الطالب نصري باسم يوسف أنضل. our school every single year, every graduation. He's the one, and his brother Yusuf always help us with the sound system. He is a great, helpful, and sweet personality. الطالب فيكتور عصام فيكتور Victor, lovely boy, mature, kind, great helper. I love Victor. Victor, he keeps telling me, Miss Grace, أنا زلمتك. He's really زلمة. He's a great man. أخيرا وأولا الطالب رمزي جبرة ربي صلاح. رمزي بمتاز بالطيبة وهي's a lovely boy. ألف مبروك لكم جميعا وللأهالي بالأخص. Thank you, Mr. Ross. Thank you, Mr. Sami. Thank you, Mr. Jamison. Mr. Cole.
Class of 2016, on behalf of the faculty and staff of the Jerusalem School of Bethlehem, by authority of the Ministry of Education and the superintendents, Ross Byers and Jameson Creel, I now confer upon you the degree of high school graduate. You may at this time transition your tassels. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of 2016. Graduates of 2016, school's out. Let's give them a hand as they exit the auditorium.